Today we're going to talk about a tool called Focus Through Exclusion. This tool is very useful when you have a collection of thoughts, a collection of ideas that you want to pare down to just a few that is important. Often you have a long list, or maybe you're looking at the values of the company, and you have 50 different values you've talked about, but you just want to get the 3 or 4 that are really key. Or you might want strategic projects. Have you ever noticed when you ask for strategic projects, every project in the company shows up? Well, you want to identify the 3 or 4 real strategic projects. Focus through exclusion is a mechanism for doing that, paring it down to just the few that are important. To understand this tool, let me create a scenario. Let us say you're interviewing a candidate for employment. Obviously, the candidate wants the job, and he's trying to impress you that he or she can do this job. And let us say you give this candidate a piece of paper with these words written on the paper: intelligent, friendly, diligent. These are characteristics of the interview candidate that you're asking, does this person have? All very good characteristics, by the way. Diligent, articulate, team player, all of them, positive attributes. Passionate, organized, hardworking. Who would say they were not? Empathetic, dependable. Provide them a sheet of paper with these 10 words written on them. Imagine if you gave them that sheet of paper and you give them a thick black Sharpie, and you ask them, which 7 of these least describes you? Please cross out with the Sharpie the 7 words that least describes you. Think about it. How difficult would that be? How uncomfortable would that person be in crossing out? Let's see, shall I cross out articulate? And by the way, when I cross it out with a Sharpie, it goes away. Do you realize how difficult that is? In contrast, let's look at another way of posing the same question. Give him a piece of paper like this with 10 words written, a little pen, and say, please check 3 items that best describes you. You'll find that they are much more willing to put a check mark on 3 items than they are to cross out with a thick Sharpie 7 items. Notice they are identical exercises. There is no difference at all. The 7 that least describes you is the same question as the 3 that best describes you. And yet, one exercise is far more difficult. When they give you the 3 that best describes you, they are usually thinking in their mind, what will most please the listener? What are you going to be best pleased by? Which one should I check off that pleases you the most? In contrast, when they strike out 7 that least describes them, they are going inside their heart and asking, what am I willing to say to myself? Intellectually honest. What am I willing to say that isn't quite me? That's a much more deeper answer than the 3 checked off best describing me. Focus through exclusion tool says that excluding is more difficult than including. Exclusion has a sense of loss that inclusion does not. And that loss forces you to introspectively analyze whether you're willing to incur that loss. And therefore, the result of that exercise is more true, has greater authenticity than the inclusion approach. Next time you're struggling with a long list to pare down, think about using focus through exclusion.